Electricity is a branch of physics that deals with the introduction of the study in electrical circuits. So this is a major subject for electrical engineering students. Electric charge is a property of protons and electrons. So the proton is positive while the electron is negative. So a nucleus is composed of protons and neutrons. So they are both positively charged and surrounded by electrons, which is negatively charged. So this is a fundamental physical quantity responsible for electrical phenomena among animals and plants. So the basic idea here is the opposite charges attract while the same charges repel. So you can commonly see this through magnets in real life applications, and we also have this in other plants and animals. So the SI unit for electrical charge is coulomb. An electron has negative 1.6 times 10 raised to negative 19 coulomb, while a proton has the same magnitude but positive charge. So the formula for charge is uh, N E, where E is the charge of the magnitude and N is the number of uh, electrons or protons. So an atom with equal number of protons and electrons is electrically neutral, or it has zero net charge. A positive ion is an atom that lacks electrons, while a negative ion is an atom with excess electrons. So for example, how many electrons must be added to an electrically neutral body to produce a net charge of negative 1.0 coulomb? So from the formula Q is equal to Ne, we have the number of electrons is 6.25 times 10 raised to 18 electrons. So another example, what will be the net charge if 2.0 times 10 raised to 10 electrons are taken from an electrically neutral atom? So we just follow the formula. So we get 3.2 times 10 raised to negative 9 coulomb, or 3.2 nanocoulomb. Electric force is the force between two charged bodies that is proportional to the product of their charges Q1 and Q2, and is inversely proportional to the square of the distance r between them. So we have here uh, F is equal to K times the absolute value of the uh, product of the charges Q1 and Q2 over R square, wherein the SI units for the force is Newton, for the charges it is coulomb, and meter or for distance. So we also have Newton meter square per coulomb square for the coulomb's constant, which is 9 times 10 raised to 9. So this is constant all throughout. So if you're going to solve, you can use this. So another example, the helium atom is composed of 2 electrons and 2 protons. If the Bohr radius is 5.29 times 10 raised to negative 11 meter, calculate the force that exists between these electrons and the nucleus. And letter B is the force attractive or repulsive. So for the solution, we have uh, 9 times 10 raised to 9 Newton meter square per coulomb square over times the absolute value of 2 times 1.6 times 10 raised to negative 19 coulomb times 2 times negative 1.6 times 10 raised to negative 19 coulomb over 5.29 times 10 raised to negative 11 meter. So it is squared. So the final force is 3.29 times 10 raised to negative 7 Newton or 329 nanonewton. So it is attractive. So why it is attractive? So the electrons are negatively charged and nucleus is positively charged. So opposite charges attract. So the force is attractive. Another example. So we have 3-point charges are placed in a plane shown below. Calculate the magnitude and direction of the net electrostatic force acting on Q3 given that Q1 is equal to 4.0 nanocoulomb, Q2 is equal to negative 6.0 nanocoulomb, and Q3 is 2.0 nanocoulomb. So we have here the net force is equal to the force between Q3 and Q1 plus the force between Q3 and Q2. So we just solve for uh, since this is the force is uh, diagonal, so or the charges are placed in a triangular shape. So we have to solve for the x and y components of the uh, F31 and F32. So solving for the F3, we have F3 square is equal to F3x square plus F3y square. So where did that came from? So F3x is equal to F31x plus F32x. So we combine the x components and then you get the resultant for F3. So solving for the angle, we have tan inverse F3y over F3x. So the net force F3 is equal to 2.16 times 10 raised to negative 6 Newton, 72.8 degrees south of east. For electric field, so it is defined as a region surrounding a charged object. This essentially enables charged object to exert electric force to one another. Any object that exerts a force on another object without contact can be thought as having lines of force emanating from it. The complete line configuration is called a force field. So the lines point in the direction of the force, and their density at any point in space is proportional to the magnitude of the force at that point. So the diagram on the left part shows the electric field of positively charged particles. In the middle, we have the negative charge. And if we combine the two, so as we can see here, uh, the force field configuration for two charges, opposite charges separated by distance. So their charges or their force field will combine because they are attractive. So opposite charges attract. The formula for the electric field due to a point charge is E is equal to K times the absolute value of Q over R square. So the SI unit for electric field is Newton per Coulomb. For example, you calculate the magnitude of a negative 3.6 microcoulomb charged object at 45 centimeter away from the object, and then you compute the magnitude of the electrostatic force if a proton is placed at the same distance from the charged object. So is the resulting force attractive or repulsive? So from the formula, so the formula for the electrostatic force, uh, uh, no, we first calculate the electrostatic or electric field. So we have K times Q over R square. And then we have 160,000 Newton per coulomb, or 1.6 times 10 raised to 5 Newton per coulomb. So the force is E multiplied by the magnitude of Q. So we just derived the formula here from the original formula of uh, electrostatic force. So our electrostatic force is 2.56 times 10 raised to negative 14 newtons. So the resulting force is attractive because the opposite charges attract. So I am talking about the negative 3.6 microcoulomb charged object, and what we have solved, which is the 1.6 times 10 raised to negative 19 coulomb. So that is proton, positively charged. So another example, calculate the electric field halfway between two charges. Q1 is equal to negative 3.2 nanocoulomb, and Q2 is equal to negative 1.5 nanocoulomb. So they are 10 millimeter apart. So we have to convert the millimeter into meter because that is our basic unit. Okay, so we have here 9 times 10 raised to 9 times negative 3.2 times 10 raised to negative 9 coulomb over 0.005 meters square. So our the electric field for the first object, so for the first charge, we have negative 1.15 times 10 raised to 6 Newton per coulomb. And for the next charge, we have negative 5.4 times 10 raised to 5 Newton per coulomb. So the electric field halfway between the two charges is uh, E2 minus E1. So we have 6.1 times 10 raised to 5 Newton per coulomb. Electric potential is also known as potential or voltage, and the SI unit for the voltage is volts. So it is a measure of energy transfer as the charge moves between 2 points. The electric potential at point R away from the point charge is V is equal to KQ over R. So it is related to electric field by V is equal to the electric field times the point R, where R is the distance from the point charge Q. So for example, calculate the electric potential at the location 6.0 nanometer away from an electron. So we have here 9 times 10 raised to 9 multiplied by negative 1.6 times 10 raised to negative 19 coulomb. So this is a charge for the electron, and then over 6 times 10 raised to negative 9 meters. So be mindful for the conversion. So we have kilometer, uh, nanometer, micrometer, so millimeters. Be mindful in converting to our basic unit, which is the meter. So you might get confused as you solve, but there is a table in the introduction to physics that you can actually memorize. Actually, you can also search it on Google. So memorize the conversions of units. So our electric potential is negative 0.24 volts. Calculate the distance from a proton where the electric field and potential are found to be 2.30 times 10 raised to negative 18 Newton per coulomb and 5.75 times 10 raised to negative 19 volts. So we just follow the formula and then derive for the formula for the distance. So the distance R is equal to 0.25 meters or meter. The electric potential energy or UE of the point charge Q when a test charge QO is placed in the region where the voltage is V is UE is equal to QO times V, where the SI unit for UE is joule. So we have learned so far about the gravitational potential energy and the elastic potential energy. So here we have the electric potential energy. So they have the same unit, which is joule. If the electric potential energy between a proton and an electron is measured to be negative 2.5 times 10 raised to negative 18 joule, calculate the voltage. So from the formula, let just manipulate the formula so you will get voltage is equal to negative 15.6 volts. An electric current is the flow of electrons along a conductor where its magnitude is dependent on the amount of charge Q flowing past a given point in a given period of time t. So conductors are materials that enables the flow of electricity. So for example, metals or gold, bronze, silver. So the formula for the current I is equal to Q over T, wherein the Q is the charge and T is time in second. Calculate the amount of electrons that passes through a wire that carries 1.0 ampere. So ampere is the unit for current. So manipulating the formula, so we get I is equal to QT. So the charge Q, we have here 1.0 coulomb. So from there, we can use the formula Q is equal to N times the absolute value of E. So we have the number of electrons is equal to 6.25 times 10 raised to 18 electrons. So there are two types of current. We have the direct current. This has constant flow or unidirectional flow of electric charges. So we have here the graph for the electric charges of DC current on the left side. And then for alternating current or AC, charges periodically reverses direction between two extremes. So DC current is developed by Thomas Alva Edison, while the alternating current is developed by Nikola Tesla and George Westinghouse. So typically their current this can be found in batteries. And then alternating current, so you can find this in your uh, outlets or the one flowing in your home or school. So we have here Ohm's law. So a resistor is an electrical device that opposes or resists the flow of charges in an ohmic circuit. So uh, resistance is measured in ohms. This remains unchanged with voltage and current. So the opposite of resistance is conductance, and the measure is Siemens. The electricity through a resistor is accompanied by power dissipation P. So this is measured in watts. So as electrical energy is converted to heat. So from the work energy and power, we have the power is equal to work over time. So here, the formula for power is I square times R or V square over R. So the Ohm's law is this one. V is equal to IR. So you can memorize this formula. This can be used in future calculations. For example, calculate the current that flows through a 500 ohm resistor connected to a 12-volt battery. Letter B, find the conductance, and letter C, find the power dissipated. So we just use the formula. So we have the current, which is 12 volts over 500 ohms. We have 0.024 ampere or 24 milliampere. So the conductance is the inverse of the resistance. So we have 0.002 Siemens. And then for the power, we have 0.024 ampere square times 500 ohm. We have 0.288 watts or 288 milliwatts. So there are two types of connections for circuits. So circuit is the connection of resistors, and we have a voltage source. So the one here, this is the voltage source, and then these are resistors. So R1 and R2, this is the symbol for resistors. So here in series connection, the current flowing is the same all throughout. So it means the current in R1 is equal to the current in R2. So in solving for the total voltage, we have V1 plus V2. So in solving for the total resistance, we just add the two resistors or the two resistances. So R1 plus R2. In parallel connection, on the other hand, so here the voltage or uh, the voltage across these two resistors is or are the same. So the voltage in R1 is equal to the voltage in R2 or V1 is equal to V2. So the current, so they will divide here and then the total current should be I1 plus I2. And the total resistance for the parallel connection, we have the inverse of the total resistance is equal to the inverse of R1 plus the inverse of R2. For example, for a series connection, we have the voltage source is 9 volts and R1 is 10 ohms and R2 is 20 ohms. So based on the formula, the total resistance is R1 plus R2, which is 10 plus 20 ohms. So we have 30 ohms. For the total current, we use the Ohm's law. So this is our Ohm's law. So we have IT is equal to VT over RT. So the total current is 0.30 amperes. So it means the current flowing all throughout here is 0.30 amperes. So I1 is equal to 0.30 amperes and I2 is also equal to 0.30 ampere. So we can now calculate the voltages individually using also Ohm's law. So this one. So Ohm's law comes in very handy. So V1 is equal to I1 R1. So we have previously solved for I1 and then we also have the given R1. So we have V1 is equal to 3 volts and V2 is equal to 6 volts. So if we sum this up, we have 9 volts, which is equal to our given total voltage. So in case you're solving, so check if the given total voltage is equal to your computed value. Another example, so for the parallel connection, we have we also have the same given, so 10 ohms and 20 ohms. So our V1 is equal to 9 volts also, and V2 is 9 volts. So uh, it is equal. So on all parts, or Vt is equal to V1 is equal to V2. So for the R total, we have 1 over the sum of the reciprocal of the resistances. So we have 6.67 ohms. So from there, we can solve for the total current, which is 9 volts over 6.67 ohms. We have 1.35 ampere. So from here, let's compute the individual current. So here we have V1 over R1. So this is 0.9 ampere and then I2 is V2 over R2. So the total for this, the I2 is 0.45 ampere. So if we total this one, we also have uh, 1.35 ampere. So it's one way of checking. So overall, in series connection, the current is the same. And then if we total the voltage, we have Vt is equal to V1 plus V2. In parallel connection, the voltage is the same all throughout or across the resistances. While if we solve for the total current, we have I1 plus I2.